The story begins by showing us a beautiful girl named Emma who wakes up early in the morning to get ready for school. Emma is a very good and popular student at her school and has many friends. On the other hand, we see Dean, who is quite a lazy boy compared to Emma. He wakes up late, goes straight to the bathroom to brush his teeth, and then immediately sits down to play video games. His father Jack warns him that he'll be late for school. Meanwhile, we see Emma and her little sister Stacy being dropped off at school by their mother Barbara. After arriving at school, Emma meets her best friend Liz. While they are chatting, a student named Steven comes over and greets Emma, which makes Liz tease Emma. That same day in class, their teacher, Mr. Christian Sen, announces that the bus will leave at exactly 7 a.m. the next morning for a trip to Trinity Island. As he continues, Emma arrives late to class, and Dean bumps into her from behind, apologizing by calling her Princess. Just then, Liz tells Emma that Dean is also going on the trip, thanks to his father's money, and then makes a face at Dean. At lunch, Liz tells their friends about what happened between Emma and Steven in the morning, and says that during the trip they'll have a whole week to use their charm to get Emma and Steven together. But Emma insists they should focus on the trip instead. While everyone is talking, Emma notices Dean cutting an apple with a knife. Shortly after, Miss Collier, a teacher, comes over and scolds Dean for bringing a knife to school, then takes him to the principal's office. Liz tells her friends that Emma shouldn't hang out with boys like Dean when a popular guy likes her. The next morning, Emma gets ready for the trip, thanking her mother Barbara and father Phil for letting her go. Meanwhile, Dean doesn't want to go on the trip, but his father Jack reminds him of how hard he worked to secure him a spot despite his rule breaking, so Dean agrees to go. Then Mr. Christian Sen asks everyone to board the bus. While getting on, Steven asks Emma how she is, and Liz teases Emma again, but Emma ignores her. Soon they arrive at Trinity Island. As they get off the bus, Miss Collier tells everyone they can enjoy the pool for a while, but must return before dinner because the program starts the next day. Later, Emma and her friends head to the pool, where Emma meets Steven, and they all start having fun together. However, Dean watches them alone from the balcony. That evening, Emma's friend Liz comes to tell her that Steven invited them to a party happening on a local boat nearby. Emma refuses, but her friends insist, and she finally agrees. At the party, Emma looks for Helen, but then sees Steven kissing another girl. Upset, Emma starts to leave, and Dean, who witnessed this, sarcastically tells her boyfriend is having fun. Emma tells Dean to mind his own business. Suddenly, the police arrive because they have learned that students are using drugs at the party. They call everyone to the front of the boat. In the commotion, Emma slips and falls into the water. Dean sees her fall and jumps in to save her, pulling her into a small boat connected by a rope to the larger boat. Dean cuts the rope, telling Emma he doesn't want to get into trouble with the police. After the police leave, they plan to reach the big boat again, but the small boat drifts far away and a storm is about to begin. Dean notices the boat has no motor, and suddenly a big wave hits. They hold on to the boat tightly. The next morning, they find themselves in the Arabian Sea. Dean's phone has died, so he asks Emma for her phone, but there's no signal. Emma suggests they should have followed the party boat, but Dean reassures her that someone will come to rescue them. While talking, Emma spots an island nearby. Dean steers the boat toward it, and after many difficulties, they reach the island. Emma checks for phone signal again, but still gets none. Dean finds a flare gun on the boat, takes it, and they move forward, hoping to find help. Meanwhile, back at the hotel, Mr. Christian Singh cancels the trip due to the party the previous night. Liz tells Miss Collier that Emma never returned to the hotel and admits she thought Emma might have been with someone else the previous night, so she didn't inform anyone. She last saw Emma at the party boat. When Mr. Christian Singh takes attendance, they realize Dean is also missing, confirming both Emma and Dean are absent. The police arrive and question Emma's friends. Miss Collier asks if there's any way to find them, and the police say such cases happen often and they might return on their own. But if they are stranded at sea, finding them would be difficult. When Dean's father hears his son is missing, he rushes to the school, meets Emma's mother Barbara, and Phil arrives too. They all worry and confront the principal about the missing children, but he cannot provide answers. Then, Emma and Dean continue moving forward and soon spot a beautiful waterfall inside the jungle. Dean loves it and asks Emma to take his picture, but she refuses, saying they are stranded and she needs this trip to find a good path for her project since she wants to study at Princeton University. If they don't leave soon, everything will be ruined. After walking for hours, they reach the edge of the island but find no path or help. They decide to return to the boat but find it gone, taken away by the sea waves. All that remains is a life jacket. Exhausted after walking all day, the sun sets. Dean lights a fire and they decide to spend the night there. Dean notices Emma is cold and gives her his shirt. They talk, hopeful that their parents will find them by tomorrow. The next morning, Dean wakes up to find Emma missing. He searches and finds her writing SOS on the shore. He asks what she's doing, and she says she's trying to save their lives and they need to find drinking water. Dean goes swimming while Emma watches. Back at the hotel, Mr. Christian Sen informs the parents that the police are searching searching for Emma and Dean and have found a small boat they might have been on. Jack suggests hiring a private rescue team since the police haven't made progress, but Mr. Christensen assures them the police are doing their best and will find the kids soon. Meanwhile, Emma feels something strange and senses someone watching her, which makes her nervous, so she leaves quickly. Together, they build a small shelter from leaves to protect themselves from the sun. Emma writes a large SOS on the shore so rescue teams passing by can spot them. They search for and eat whatever they find on the island. Dean discovers a banana tree, and they eat bunches of bananas. The island is very hot, and Emma can't wear full pants or even underwear comfortably, so she cuts her pants into shorts. Later, Emma sees Dean sleeping in the shelter and lies down beside him. Suddenly, Dean turns toward her and puts his hand on her, which Emma likes but doesn't say anything. The next day, when Emma is bathing in the waterfall, Dean comes over and asks her for some sunscreen. Emma tells him that she's bathing and he should go to the other side. Dean replies that she was the one who asked him to keep watch here. Hearing this, Emma says there are other people on the island, which is why she told him to go near the hotel. Barb was very worried about Emma, and the news reported that Emma and Dean's disappearance had become official. The police now believed they were dead and were searching for their bodies. Phil was getting ready to go home because Emma's younger sister, Stacy, was alone there, but Barbara was still upset, so Phil told Barb that Emma would be found and hugged her. The next day, Jack took a helicopter with Barb to search for Emma and Dean. Back on the island, night was approaching. Emma told Dean how much she missed her family. Then Dean found a human skull, which frightened Emma. She said maybe that person had gotten trapped here like them and ended up like this, and perhaps the same would happen to them. Dean told her it was probably a fisherman or a smuggler who had died here. He reassured her that their parents were after them and they weren't alone. He promised that if they stuck together, they would never die here and would return home one day. After saying this, he kissed Emma. It was Emma's first kiss and she enjoyed it. Night fell. Suddenly, a storm hit the island. Emma enjoyed the storm for the first time and was very happy. The next morning, Emma woke up to find Dean missing. She called out for him, but couldn't find him, so she got worried and went into the forest to search. After walking a bit, she saw Dean digging a hole. Emma didn't understand why he was doing this. Suddenly, Emma slipped and hurt her knee. Dean immediately tended to her wound and told her she would be fine. Then they both went to bathe in the waterfall, where Dean shared that his mother had died in a car accident. Emma listened attentively. Soon, it started raining, and Dean began having fun in the rain. Emma was happy watching him. They started dancing in the rain, and Dean put a flower in Emma's hair. Emma told Dean she wanted to enjoy another storm, so Dean began preparing for one again. Meanwhile, the news reported that a month had passed since Emma and Dean's disappearance. The police believed they were no longer alive and had officially stopped searching. However, Emma's friends still believed she and Dean were alive, and Barb felt the same. She took a helicopter with Jack to search for her daughter again. They distributed flyers with information about Emma and Dean to help find them. After doing all they could, Jack told Barb they had tried everything but still couldn't find Emma and Dean, so maybe they should return home. Barb felt sad and went back. On the island, Dean was telling Emma about a green light his mother had once told him about, a light visible at sunset. Dean had never seen it before. Weeks passed, and the two enjoyed the island's beautiful surroundings. They swam in the sea and had a lot of fun, growing very close. Whenever they felt like it, they enjoyed storms and earthquakes together. One day, Emma asked Dean about his first time and who it was with. Dean said that when he was in school, he had a friend who was older than him. Knowing this was all new to Emma, Dean asked how she felt about it. She said it was nice, although the storm had blown sand into the wrong places. Emma said she wanted more experience, and Dean agreed. Later, they went into the forest to gather some fruit. Dean went ahead to pick some. Suddenly, they heard the sound of a plane. They ran toward an open area, and Dean quickly tried to find a flare gun in Emma's bag to signal the plane, but couldn't find it. By then, the plane had flown far away. Emma searched for the flare gun again, but didn't find it either. She began to suspect that someone else was on the island stealing their things. Days passed, but only one plane had flown over, and no one had come to rescue them. Sitting in their hut, they talked about giving up hope of going home and deciding to live together in the forest. Suddenly, Dean heard an animal's noise and went into the forest to find it. Emma became worried and followed him. A little further in, Dean saw a black panther and ran away. After running some distance, he suddenly fell to the ground. Emma caught up to him and saw that he had a bloodied knife and had killed the black panther. Meanwhile, all of Emma and Dean's friends and parents began to move on with their lives without them. Emma and Dean had learned to live on the island and decided to stay there, realizing their hope for rescue was gone. They learned to hunt, built a hut, and spent their days happily together, giving up on all hopes. One day, Emma started vomiting. Seeing this, Dean asked if she was pregnant. Emma said no, it was just nausea. To feel better, Emma lay down with Dean. While they were talking, their lost belongings began falling from above. Looking up, they saw a monkey on a tree throwing their stuff down. They noticed the monkey had the flare gun Dean hadn't found that day. Emma showed the monkey a banana, and it dropped the gun. Suddenly, they heard the sound sound of a helicopter overhead. They ran to an open area. Emma loaded the flare gun and fired. The helicopter saw them and rescued them. Finally, after 3 months, Emma and Dean returned home. At the airport, their friends and parents were overjoyed to see them and took them to their respective homes. That night, Dean went to meet Emma. They talked about how strange it felt to be home. Dean was about to kiss Emma, but she stopped him, saying her parents were visiting every 10 minutes and that he should probably leave. She invited him to a party her parents were throwing to celebrate their return. The next day, everyone gathered at the party. Emma's parents spoke about their children's return. Stacy asked Dean why he wasn't mingling with everyone. Dean said he didn't like socializing much. Dean signaled Emma to come with him, but she ignored him. And seeing this, Dean left the party. Things returned to normal. Emma became very famous after returning from the island, but Dean remained alone. Whenever they passed each other, they only looked at one another. A few days later, Emma called Dean, but he didn't answer. Later, Stacy visited Emma's room and said they had missed her a lot and how worried their parents were when she was missing. They had thought they had lost her forever, but now everyone was happy to be together. Emma told Stacy she was a great sister, and they decided to go to the prom party together. On the other hand, Dean visited his mother's grave and wept, missing her deeply. On prom night, Dean was watching TV when his father asked if he wanted to wear his tuxedo to the party. Emma arrived at the party with her sister. Liz came over and took Emma aside to surprise her. Emma looked outside and saw Dean standing in the rain wearing a tuxedo, waiting for her. Seeing this, Emma remembered everything from the island. She went out to Dean, and they were very happy, kissing each other. And with this scene, the story ends here.